New Chinese tariffs are hitting the United States today. This as the global trade war largely narrows down to just two countries. Let's bring in Fox's Doug Luzader joining us live from Washington, D.C. this morning. Hey, Doug, it's good to see you this morning. How are you?
Good morning.
So listen, some larger U.S. companies could get exempt from the tariffs?
Well, yeah, it's certainly possible. I mean, you know, these are... You have a number of different tariffs in play here. We have the broad-based tariffs, the 10% tariffs that look like they're not going to go away. What will go away, at least for 90 days, would be these country-specific, what the president calls reciprocal tariffs. You know, Wall Street was obviously very concerned about that, as evidenced by the huge bounce we saw yesterday when the president decided to give some breathing room there. But you know, the president is open, he says, to looking at specific industries, specific companies that would be hit hardest by some of these tariffs.
And those countries, by and large, you know, came to the president and wanted to work with him. One of those countries is not China. Those tariffs were not only raised, but they were raised significantly, Doug. And so what does this mean moving forward? Because it almost seems as if somebody's going to have to blink.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, you know, you can make the argument that these high-level tariffs ultimately hurt China more than they hurt the United States, but it doesn't mean they don't hurt the United States. And this, you know, raises this question of the pain threshold here at home. You know, certainly, you know, investors really liked what they saw yesterday in terms of the Wall Street reaction, but it is important to note that last I checked, that in fact, right now, Dow futures are off over 600. So we may be in for another rough day on Wall Street yesterday, despite that huge rise yesterday.
And one of the things you said is that this could hurt China perhaps more than the United States, but certainly the United States is a big trading partner with China. And so as we move forward with this, and that kind of trickle down happens sometime in May, right, if you've already got goods that are on their way here, what does that mean for us, for the average consumer, Doug? And do you think something could happen before that time?
Well, yeah, the expectation here is that it's going to cause some prices to rise. Now, this may be just kind of a one-time hit on inflation when these tariffs take hold. And, you know, we may over time see companies kind of, you know, work around this and find new suppliers outside of China. Apple, you know, has been talking about trying to source more iPhones out of India as opposed to China to get around some of these tariffs. So there may be some workarounds. But look, you know, our economies, you know, even though we don't have the best relations with China as a country, our economies are very, very closely linked.
Absolutely. All right, we'll have to keep our eye on it for sure. Fox's Doug Luzader. Doug, thanks so much. Always enjoyed talking to you.
Thanks, Danielle.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.